Good morning, everyone. Dave Miller here with FlightLines Design Inc. I'm here today to demonstrate the new features available with the Jet Pro Design Template version 22.0. The template's uploaded to the virtual office and ready for your use. It's located in a slightly different area. So go to Shared Documents on the home page, then Design Template. You won't see anything there if the view is set to standard, so just go View All Documents. On there is the new design template version 22, as well as two XML style sheets for the supported Map Publisher supported versions of Adobe Illustrator now. So you can use it on CC 2014 and Creative Suite 6. Don't upload or download rather the CC 2015 as Map Publisher won't support that at this time. So what's new with DT version 22? Actually, there's quite a few new features available. The main one is that the exporting of approach trapezoids is now done using XML Export in a quasi-GML format that can be imported directly into Map Publisher, Adobe Illustrator without formatting, joining points, etc. You can also use map theme style sheets to automatically format the items as you import them. So really all that's required is you export the XML file, import the XML file to Illustrator, and it will format it, and then you drag it into the appropriate map layer to position it correctly on your map. And it can all be done all at once. The exporting from Excel is individual files or trapezoids, but on the import you can import multiple files at once. So these are all brought into the same layer. And you can see that they're all formatted nicely. Center lines for the missed approach are now included. And the formatting is standardized now. Okay, so now let's cover what's required for setting up your Illustrator for use of map style sheets, and then we'll look at Excel on how you export the data. Okay, map themes, if you don't have the tab displayed right now, is on the top of the toolbar for Map Publisher. Thematic tools, you just push the theme button. I have the themes displayed here, but I'll delete them and show you how we can import those. Just put them in the trash, delete all 7. So to have the themes displayed, this is a CS6 file. I'm going to close the 2014 file. And within CS6, for using Adobe Illustrator CS6, you would then open up the Maps theme style sheet that you downloaded from the virtual office, and it's basically a blank canvas with the style sheets. Go to your regular document that you're working on, go copy map objects from, select the style sheets, and they're now part of your document. So it's fairly straightforward to do that. Now let's have a look at your Excel design template. What you're going to need on here to get access to the export feature for exporting XML documents is the Developer tab. If you don't have the Developer tab, you can go File, Options, Customize Ribbon, and the Developer tab is by default not selected on the Customize ribbon. So just select Developer, and it's now on the top of should be included with the rest of your menus. So let's have a look at how this works. I'm working with Cold Lake Regional. I have LP LNAV, diverse departure circling, and GQS selected for processing. I don't have any function saying that calculations are pending or in process. I also have formulas turned to automatic. There is no warning now when you go to export, just because I'm using XML and it's a built-in feature. If you have manual calculations set up, it will probably export incorrect data or not completely up-to-date data, so please be cautious about having your calculations set to automatic before exporting. Okay, you don't have to be on any particular page to do your export. I'll go to the I/O tab. We'll just verify what the alignment is. We're using a turning missed approach at an altitude direct to a missed approach hold waypoint to the IAWP. The alignment of the hold is intermediate alignment with an LNAV. And I have a speed restriction for the missed approach. So what I want to do is go to my Developer tab, select Export, and select what I want to the feature that I want to export. I've grouped them together with a number prefix. So you've got circling, diverse departure, ESA, VOCA. MSA is included within the LNAV approach, which is used for all wide approaches for LNAV and for Barrow VNAV. And the LPV approach, it will be used for LPV or LP style approaches. The missed approach segments are broken up. So in this case, I want to just start with an LNAV approach, export the LNAV, select your destination folder, design, or running runway 26. This is LNAV approach. I just give it a simple name because I'm storing it in a folder with the runway name. And it doesn't matter what name you use for files that you're saving on the XML export, because the XML file embeds a proper name for whatever trapezoid you're exporting into the runway layers. And then when you import, it uses those names on the import to Adobe Illustrator. So you can keep the naming convention rather short. Export waypoints. Waypoints. And the LNAV missed. LNAV missed approach. And if I want to do the LPV at the same time, I can do LPV approach. And export. Sorry about the big icons there. That's, I have to change that setting. LPV missed. Now if I do another export with the same name, it remembers what I've typed. So if you're going to do the other runway, it's already selected. If I select that now, it's actually already preloaded the name convention. So if you keep a generic name, you can use it with the other end of the runway. So what else have we got here? We've got LP. We'll do the feeders, no feeders. We do have a hold. And that would be all holds if there was multiple holds. And a couple of other features here. If you can get an obstacle list, which is a list of all obstacles that were used in the design template with the appropriate obstacle number that's used as the reference in your design template. Controlling obstacle makes it very easy to tag obstacles that were used in the design. It makes it really easy to QA as well, because now I have a specific label on obstacles that matches what the template was that you used to develop. Controlling obstacles list is after you've done your design. It will actually allow you to import all of the controlling obstacles. Again, they'll be labeled, they'll be georeferenced in the correct place. I can use that to do QA or for future reference. I recommend that we start exporting the obstacle list and the controlling obstacles list. That was the CO list. If we export those into the document folder or the approach runway folder, we now have a backup of all of the parts that are needed to do the assessment. If your map crashes, you can do one simple import and recover all of your approach data into a new design. It could be a very valuable tool in the event of a catastrophic loss of a map. All right, we'll do the import and see how that turned out. So I've opened up my map for Cold Lake, and now I'm going to import my layers. So it's a simple import. This time you'll check GML, XML layers as your option for the type. Go to your folder. You can select all. It automatically recognizes it as a WGS84. Click OK, resize the map, click OK. And we're done. So we have to transfer those to the correct layer, so it don't have a lot of unreferenced material in here. That way you always know that what's here is what you just imported. So you can select all of the layers in the map views. You can either drag them or switch to your georeference layer. You're going to get error message. It's going to be items that weren't transferred, or items that were only one piece of artwork was selected on the canvas. If items went off the edge of the map, it'll also be indicated. So there you go. There's everything, including controlling obstacles. That's an entire approach assessment referenced correctly now. Your obstacles are in the right place. So what I do here, the naming of all of these items is set within the XML file. So you'll notice it doesn't say anything about the name that I used for the file, the XML file, when I created it. They're all prefaced with a Jet Pro and then the type of item that the XML layer contains. So you can take those newly imported layers, get rid of that. That was old. These are the new ones. Select them all. Select the pull down menu tab and go collect in a new layer, and just, you could call that runway 28. So there's all my runway 28 data located within one file. Waypoints, center lines, different parts of center lines are all located within there. LNAV missed approach. So there's the LPV with the hold. If you want to get rid of the hold, and just to select that, and we'll take a look at the LNAV. Okay, I've tested the new software out on all variations of approaches that I could think of. It's short and long, straight ahead, with or without a turning waypoint, using a turning waypoint with a long to the max width, then a turn. I've done climb to altitudes, short climbs, projected turns left and right, feeders, offset finals, offset initial. And I've fixed up any errors that I found. It looks fairly stable at this point, as well as the use of all feeders. So if you try to import a layer that contained blank data, like if I exported an XML layer for the RNAV, for feeders, and I didn't have feeders created, what you'll do is you won't get an error here when you do the export. but when you do the import, you'll get an error message that warns you that there was missing data. Okay, the actual tuple size does not match the size specified. So that's it. And again, if you did a group import and one of the files wasn't filled correctly, you'll get an error like that, and it'll trash the entire import. You just won't get a successful import on any of the obstacles. So basically, if you don't get the recognized coordinate system here, that means that one of your files isn't complete. If they were all recognized and you get WGS84 on the coordinate systems auto recognition, then you're good to go. All right, I'll move on to Excel file now and show you a little bit more of what's in the Excel. All right, not much of a change on your Excel design template initially. When you have a look, there's not too much different from what we had before. I have removed from the menu bar the option for locus copy. All the locus files are gone now. I haven't split the file up to reduce the calculation processes yet. I'll be doing that shortly once I confirm that the new departure template is working. I did change the obstacles tab for sorting purposes and for copying from other sources. Number 1 and down is below is used to place your needs data, needs imports, and above that I have your locally assessed data. The user data will start at number 1000 and move up, so that's a little easier now to sort where your user obstacles are, user inserted contours, etc., towers. So that'll make it easier to migrate from an old template to a new template and keep your items sorted. You'll also notice that there's a C in here for man-made obstacles that's supported by the new NavCan submission forms. So C are man-made obstacles that would normally be a tower but isn't within the needs data. So if it's a needs obstacle, it'll have a T. So that's new. Sectors isn't changed. The AI waypoints is probably not necessary at all. RAS is unchanged. I've updated charting based on NavCan input. They wanted basically the feed from the charting. They want magnetic track on the submission form, so I now reference the magnetic track off this tab to feed the submission forms. Descent gradients, there's a bit of supporting information here as well based on some feedback from Nav Canada and descent gradients and whether or not a deceleration area is required. So that logic is contained on the side for your reference. And as well as the warning messages pop up and tell you, they don't just warn you when it's acceptable, but they'll warn you if you need to do a deceleration segment. And not much of a change anywhere along here. Some of the submission data, if I scroll over here, so again, based on some feedback from Nav Canada, I've changed some of the fields. This was based on feedback received from Roger Guinan on some of the submissions using the new form on what Nav Canada would like in the boxes. So I've responded to that with runway numbers or thresholds were incorrect in some cases. And the altitudes used, the minima altitudes for segments, was also not quite what they were looking for. So they want the minimum altitude assessed and not one that we arbitrarily push up for design reasons. So I'm just letting you know that that has been changed and that the altitudes, there's a note on the side here that basically warns that what that change is. All right, that's pretty much all I've got for you. The major changes there. It should make things a lot simpler. Encourage you to read the archive version history and the known design issues at the top of the page, based on whatever last template you used to do a design, and just familiarize yourself with the corrections that I've made and the enhancements. So I'm hoping this goes out fairly smooth, and please let me know as soon as possible if you encounter any difficulties using the new process. Okay, thanks for watching.